Hello guys, in this session we are going to start with the selenium and the questions asked. So what is a selenium? What are some advantages of the selenium? What are the different limitations of the selenium? Then there are some components of the selenium. After that, what is selenium webdriver? And lastly, architecture of the selenium webdriver that we are going to see. So first is what is selenium? So Selenium is basically open source automation testing tool which is used for automating web applications. Basically it provides you a suite which is used for the automating web applications over the different platforms. Means what? We can run our test script over a different browser or a different platforms. That's what a Selenium. Then what are the advantages of the selenium that we are going to see? So first is a selenium is open source and free to use. Means we don't require any license. It is a free to use. After that, it supports for the multiple programming languages. Means we have a Java, Ruby, Python. So Selenium supports for all these languages. Means someone want to execute script with the Java programming language, or someone is comfortable with the Python, then also he can execute script over a Python also. Means Selenium supports for all these programming languages. After that, third one is Selenium supports for the multi-browser testing. Multi-browser testing means what? Means suppose we want to run our test script over a Firefox, and some test cases we can run with the Chrome browser also. So that's what a multi-browser testing means. Selenium supports for Firefox, Chrome, Edge browser, like that. Fourth one is Selenium supports for the multiple operating systems. So we have a Windows, Mac, Android. So we can run test cases over a multiple operating systems. Means Selenium supports for multiple operating systems. Then fifth one is we have a Selenium grid. So we are going to see afterwards, but Selenium grid is what? We can execute our test script over a multiple browsers, multiple operating systems parallelly with the help of Selenium grid. Means Selenium grid supports for the parallel testing. That's what are advantages of Selenium. Next we are going to see what are the limitations of the Selenium. So first one is we cannot test desktop applications using Selenium. Selenium only supports for the web applications. Suppose we want to upload a file or we want to download a file. So in this case, we are not going to use Selenium, or Selenium not supporting for the desktop applications. So for a downloading or uploading file, we have a auto IT. So we need to use that. Second one is we cannot test barcode captcha using Selenium. There is a graph also. We cannot automate a graph with the help of the Selenium. Now third limitation is we must require knowledge of one programming language. Means suppose we need to write test script. We cannot go for the test script without having knowledge of programming. So we must require knowledge of one programming language. That's what the limitations. After that, fourth one is we have to rely on external libraries and tools for performing tasks. Means what? Sometimes we require to use a log4j. Sometimes we need Apache POI for the reading external files. Sometimes in frameworks we need to use a test-ng. So that are some external libraries we need to use. Also, Selenium doesn't have reporting capability. So we need to rely on the external libraries for the reporting purpose also. That is one of the limitation of Selenium. I hope you understand advantages and disadvantages of the Selenium. Now we are going to see what are the components of the Selenium. Now first one is a Selenium IDE. So what is a IDE? IDE means Integrated Development Environment. So it is a open source test automation tool. It is having record and playback capability, but it doesn't support for programming languages. So this is what a limitation of Selenium IDE. So to overcome this, we have a Selenium RC. So what is a RC? That is a remote control. So it supports for the multiple programming languages. We know that Ruby, Python, Java. So Selenium RC supports for that languages, but its limitation is that it requires server to start and stop execution. So to overcome this, we have a Selenium WebDriver. So previously I told you about the Selenium WebDriver. So it is used for the automating web applications over a different browsers. Means we can write a test script using Selenium WebDriver. And it also supports for the multiple programming languages, multiple operating systems. Then we can also over a test script with the multiple browsers. After that we have a Selenium grid. So Selenium grid is basically allows us to execute script parallelly over a different machines. So that we are going to learn afterwards. Now I hope this concept understand. After that we have a Selenium WebDriver. So what is Selenium WebDriver? So Selenium WebDriver is open source library, or we can say that it is an interface which allows us to execute script over a multiple browsers. And basically we can also say that it is a collection of APIs which supports for the multiple programming languages. Also we can automate it over a multiple browsers. So that's what a Selenium WebDriver. Now we are going to learn about the architecture of the Selenium WebDriver and what are the components that are required for the Selenium WebDriver. So let's start with the Selenium WebDriver architecture. So first component is Selenium Client Library. So Selenium Client Library supports for the multiple programming languages like Ruby, Python, Java, and we have a JSON wire protocol. So JSON wire protocol is used to transfer information between client and server over the web. Means what? If we have any test script, then that is converted into the JSON format first. After that, it is given to the browser drivers. Means each browser is having its own browser driver. So there is an interaction between browser driver and browsers. As soon as that script is executed over a multiple browsers by the browser driver, then it is converted into the HTTP format, and that is given as a response. or that is given as an feedback. So that's what the output. I hope you understand all the concepts, and thank you so much.